Hi, this is János, it's Revered Audio, and today it is time to expand on our knowledge about loudspeakers. This is going to be a video for relatively beginner audiophiles, so if you are wondering about loudspeakers, why they cost the amount they cost and why they get so expensive, I'm going to touch a little bit on that area as well, but most importantly, I'm going to tell you what is happening when you are paying for a more expensive loudspeaker. What is the part in it that costs a lot of money, and you could do it for yourself for a whole lot less money. And the misconception with the loudspeakers is that the big part, or I would say the most defining, unique and only part that makes a loudspeaker is the cabinet and the drivers. And when you paid some money, a certain amount of money for a certain loudspeaker, then by getting the drivers and the cabinet, that's what you get, that's what you paid for. And certainly when we are talking about more affordable or the lowest category of loudspeakers, this is true. However, as we are getting into the more expensive loudspeaker land, the manufacturers place a lot more emphasis on the quality of the internals, on the crossover parts. And when we get into silly price range like loudspeakers, then they spend an inordinate amount of money on the crossovers. And just for yourself, if you have any kind of loudspeaker, you can even radically improve the quality of that loudspeaker and what you think as of the refinement or the level of the loudspeaker drastically by upgrading your crossover parts. And this is what MLG5 shared in his comment just a couple hours ago. In order to get the equivalent speaker to an upgraded crossover medium price speaker, you need to spend over $20,000. I have upgraded several and the results were amazing. Just replacing cheap posts with tube connectors for $30 makes a significant improvement. So I'm showing Emil's post just to show you guys that I am not alone with how I think about loudspeakers. This is a general observation that more experienced audiophiles have made, that by upgrading your crossover parts, and it also includes the binding post, that is also part of the internals, because usually the binding posts are also something that hold the quality of your loudspeakers down. Because of course it is a given when you have a certain driver or pair of drivers, what they are capable of doesn't change. But when you have I would say underclass crossover elements, those hold back a lot the drivers that you have. Even if they are cheap drivers, they still hold them down. And by improving the crossover parts, which includes not just like the capacitors, resistors and inductors, but also the wiring, the connectors, and even the connectors to the drivers in the loudspeaker. That's also absolutely critical. The solder itself, and just basically everything that is between the driver or drivers and the speaker cables. Everything in between there has the ability or capability to hold down your loudspeaker even critically. And that's why if you have a loudspeaker that you love, and even though it was not a very expensive loudspeaker, you can keep that loudspeaker for a long time, a very long time. It can keep you company even if you keep on increasing or upping the level of your amplifier, your source, your cables. And of course, after a while, you will think that your loudspeakers are holding the system down. And in reality, it's not the loudspeaker when everything else has far eclipsed the loudspeaker, but the internals, the crossover elements, the internal wiring. Those are the things that are holding down your loudspeaker. And instead of just ditching your loudspeaker and getting something altogether different, if you are by and large satisfied with your loudspeaker, then you can play around with the crossover and have the same kind of sound, just elevated to a more refined level. And so this is what my video is about. For those of you who are in your audio journey and who are working on improving your stereo systems, you have had a favorite loudspeaker that you have had for years and years, maybe decades, and now, after upgrading everything else in your system, you think that there might be a time to change your speakers, but when you look at the prices, you might find that to have anything that makes a substantial improvement, you might need to spend like $20,000 on a pair of loudspeakers. Instead of just sweating out 20K, my advice is first just to look into the internals of your loudspeaker and try playing around with it. Because if your other choice is like the 20K loudspeaker, just playing around with your old speakers, which are now just maybe a few $1,000s worth, don't worry about breaching the warranty. Of course, you might totally ruin your speakers, but just learn. And once you have learned, practice first on a really cheap loudspeaker that you buy in a second-hand store for maybe $10 or something like that. And once you are comfortable with it, then you can touch your favorite loudspeaker that you have been living with. And all of the modifications that you do onto the crossover are reversible, so just keep the old parts, the old crossover elements, and if you don't like a certain change, then reverse back the change you have done. But you will notice that this will give you an extremely wide range of choices, and you will have a lot of fun playing around, and you will learn a lot. And the other road that you might be able to take is just to watch or binge on YouTube videos on loudspeakers, which will tell you absolutely nothing practical that will be good in your own life. The only thing it will do is it will make you scratch your head on how to get like those tens of thousands of dollars. And then the bad thing is, you can find reviews on absolutely amazing speakers, but will they work in your room? Are they compatible with your room? Will they work with your amplifier, with your source? That's something that you never learn until you try. And it might have worked for like 5 of your buddies in their own houses, in their own rooms, but maybe in your room it will be a total fail. So that's why, for example, when people ask me about loudspeakers, which is my favorite loudspeaker, which I would recommend to build, are the void pipes. If you want like a highest level loudspeaker, build my void pipe with a Cube Audio driver, and it will be the last speaker you build. However, I cannot make this as an ultimate recommendation, because it will either work in your room or it will not. So my ultimate recommendation is, if you have already a loudspeaker and you just want to expand on the sound, then play around with the crossover, and you will see that it can take you so much further away. So on the audio road. So thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing day, and thank you MLG5 for your awesome comment. Bye team, have an awesome day.